Hey, what's up? Well, I'm making this video in the space room again, and before I get started, I would like to show my moon lamp, my new updated moon lamp, how I can change the colors, and if I tone down the brightness, you can see the craters. You can change the colors, and if you have multiple lamps, you can point it at either one, and it's just a remote control, and you can turn it off. Okay, what I want to talk about in this video, while I have time, which I may run out, I don't know how well I'm going to do with this or what it's going to be like, but I really wish the air wouldn't be on. And so in this video, I just want to continue on with my discussion. Oh, here's the outfit that was on the other doll, the brunette, and so I decided to put it on a blonde kidcore girl with teal eyes. So what I want to talk about in this video is about another boy doll that I made, which this is a one-of-a-kind boy doll. And before I put that thin mustache, you would have sworn, no, that's a girl with short hair. Basically, back in 2006, I bought these two Skipper ballerinas, and I regret doing this. Their names were Hadley and Isla, which I don't like that name. And what I did was I made the brunette. They were like identical, except this one was the blonde in the blue dress, and this one was a brunette in a purple dress, which I wish I would have kept. And at the time, I was in a different place, kind of a sad place in my life, a very sad time in my life, not one that I'm really proud of. Around 2006, just kind of a bad time, and this was one of the few things that brought me happiness, was these dolls. And you know, most people would say I destroyed this one by cutting her hair and gluing it like a boy's haircut, but once again, you know, the Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princess thing was just another thing that bothered me, because the male doll, there was only one adult male, and it was Ken. Whereas little boys, or young adolescent boys, were clearly left out. And I just couldn't verbalize why that bothered me so. But, you know, it's not 2006, which is what, gonna be 18 years ago? Oh my gosh. And that was the last, I think, age 23 was the last year I had 2 or more colds. Pretty sure. Okay. So the hair looks better from the front. But I used to have it on the same body that it came on, and I removed her breast. But later on, I put it on a Stacy body that was flat-chested, and I made that nice basketball shirt. So, although he's shorter than the girl, I'm fine with that. And I'm calling him Ivan, you know, instead of Isla, which I really don't like. And this is dry rotted, so I'm gonna have to change that. So yeah. And long before they ever made a boy Stacy, which is the only boy Stacy, I got this Stacy doll. And so this is what an actual boy would be like. So mine really was not that different. Maybe a bit older looking. But what I want to talk about in this video is how boy dolls are not for boy children. Okay? And it really makes me, well, I hate to keep saying that. It really makes me mad. It really makes me mad. I'm tired of that phrase. But for some reason, nobody seems to want to make Kid Core Katie into a boy. There was a much lesser known boy version named Kyle. And few people have him. But why they don't just take a Katie whose hair doesn't look good and make her a boy, like I've done many times over, is anybody's guess. Because, you know, what bothers me is that in the doll world, if you're not an adult kin or a unisex looking baby, what do you really have for adolescent boys but an action figure on a smaller scale that's supposed to be an adult man? You know what I'm saying? There's like no doll representation of the young adolescent male who is either getting into puberty or hasn't hit it. You know. But never would I ever give. I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, boy dolls are not for boy children. They're for people who want to have boy dolls in the doll world. And they should also never be made to where they can go completely naked. They should always, you know, to prevent lewd things, so to speak, they should always have some type of undergarment, I think. You know, I think it ought to be a rule, you know, that male dolls in general, of all ages, well, unless they're a baby, should have some type of undergarment as part of their body at least, if not a full-on pair of pants that you can never take off, so that you can't try to simulate something nasty, because that's not the purpose of them. The purpose of them, you know, this one actually, because it's a Stacy body, he has a pair of panties that say Stacy. So that's pretty embarrassing. But it's better than nudity. So yeah, I mean, I just think as a general rule, you know, any doll should have an undergarment that's part of their body. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to have them like they could go naked completely. So, you know, I just, you know, there's just this misconception that, well, you know, that because boys don't want to play dolls, which they shouldn't, you know, I'm not saying they should play dolls. As a result of that, then there just shouldn't be any boy dolls. I think that's ridiculous because, you know, I mean, no boys shouldn't play dolls. And no, I'm not suggesting they do or be given. Like, I would never give one of these dolls to a boy. I would never even give them to a girl. But they should be allowed to exist, you know. And no one should be ashamed of making them. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be a shame for an adult to enjoy making them because they're not hurting anyone. You know, the fact, I mean, who really cares? You know, the fact that this doll has short hair as opposed to long hair, you know, how is that really hurting anyone? You know, the fact that I want to call this doll Ivan as opposed to Isla, you know, which looks like Islam, where they forgot the M. I hate that name. And the name Hadley, I'm not real crazy about it, but it's prettier than Isla. You know, I just wish I still had the purple ballerina dress. But at the time I wasn't thinking right. because it was, like I said, it was a rough year. It was a really bad year for colds. You know, my sister had at least 4 of them, and I had 3. Mine were considerably milder. It was my sister's freshman year of high school, and it was the year that, like I've talked about before, I've got all these boxes everywhere that I'm kicking. It was the year when she pooped herself, and I basically felt like I lost not only a sister, but a friend. You know, it's like my sister wasn't who I thought she was anymore, and that was hard on me. I think I was more upset about it than she was, even though it was her freaking panties and my mom having to wash them out. Well, she didn't have to. She really should have thrown them out, not washed them out, and put her in a damn diaper. But it was a really hard time, you know. My previous year, age 22, had been my first year with just 1 cold. And age 23, I didn't know it, but it would be my last age with 3 colds, or even 2 or more, with multiple colds. And so it was like 24, 5, 6 were 1, 1, 1. 27 was 0. 28 and 9, 1, 1. And so it was like 0s and 1s from there on out. And it's amazing how I had as many colds the last 5 years of my 20s, 25 through 9, as I had the first year of my 20s, age 20. And I think 21 was like 2. 22 was 1. So that's a total, I think, of 15. So an average of 1.5. But, you know, that is the difference between, at the beginning of my 20s, having an 11-year-old sister going to 6th grade, as opposed to age 30, having a 21-year-old sister living away at college. That's the difference. So yeah, it was just a really bad year. It was kind of strange how, you know, 05, 06 had been such a mild winter, which could be why I only had 1 cold in the spring the whole year. It's kind of a late winter, you know, things started, it got cold later into 06, you know, after that bad hurricane season where we went in the Greek alphabet. Remember Dennis, Katrina, Rita, Wilma, and then the Greek storms. Then 06, 07, you know, kind of made up for the coldness as well as the colds in my life, because my sister, you know, going to a bigger school in high school, had more germ exposure, more kids to be around, a stressful schedule. And, you know, because it's a lot harder to maintain straight A's in high school. And she probably had a lot her first year of college, but you see, because I didn't have to be around her anymore, you know, she was living away at a dorm. I bet if she'd been going to my junior college, my alma mater, and living at home with me, I'm sure at age 27 I would have had some colds, or at least 1. But, you know, it was my first year with 0. But, you know, 2006, the latter half of 2006 was pretty bad, and this doll was made around that time, around the Christmas of 2006. And another bad thing that happened in my life was, well, it was the last year when I attempted to go to college, just in the fall, and dropped half my courses and got in serious trouble for making D's in the 2 that I kept. I mean, obviously I wouldn't have dropped them were I passing, but it was rough on me because this obsession with Yahoo Answers, wherein deciding to be male was as simple as choosing a male avatar, which I did. I got heavily involved in that site and got suspended. My original account was suspended at level 5, along with a whole bunch of other puppet accounts with various avatars in both genders. And that was a heavy blow. That was a huge blow to me, not doing well in college and getting suspended from Yahoo Answers. And then I created 2 additional accounts. That's where Little Master Points and Little Miss Points were born. Prince Robert and Princess Veronica, in November of 2006. November 27th, to be exact. And those were not only suspended from Yahoo Answers, but deactivated. Like, you can't even log into Yahoo Mail. They just delete your whole account if the violation, if it's a second time offense or a more serious violation. Like, if you get suspended for a minor violation, they would just delete the answers portion, the answers profile. But then if you did the exact same thing again, like let's say you copied and pasted the same exact questions, you know, with multiple accounts, well, then those accounts might be deactivated because they knew, and they might only get one violation and be suspended as opposed to dozens. They might be suspended and deactivated on their first violation for it being a repeat offense. You know, that's how serious they got with multiple accounts. Or if it was a more serious violation. So yeah, like, it's amazing how so many people were hurt, you know, by the rules or community guidelines of Yahoo Answers and suspended and all this stuff. All these tears were shed over a stupid website that no longer exists. Like, if you type answers.yahoo.com, you are redirected to the plain old Yahoo homepage. And it's amazing how, you know, so many people got in trouble over Yahoo sites or properties or whatever that just ceased to exist. And that's where I am today. That's why I will not get involved with something like Quora or Reddit or, you know, any of those other stupid sites. I don't care about them anymore. I am past caring about something that may not always exist. You know, that's a difference between being 40 and being 23. You know, it's amazing how I made some of the ages on the accounts in their 40s and up. And it's amazing because it's like, it's laughable because they probably could tell that it wasn't really a middle-aged person, you know, actually behind the account. Well, I mean, they probably knew they were all me. But just the difference in how people think at those ages. I never believed it, but I've realized now that it's true. You know, how you think in your 20s is just not how you think at midlife, and so on. So yeah, I would never think of a doll like this as something for a child to play with, but as a collector's item and a one of a kind. And I'll go ahead and post this video.